Welcome to Shadowland's Ghosts, a place where the veil between reality and the unknown is at its thinnest. I'm your host, Raven Blackwood, and I'll be your guide through the darkest corners of the human experience. This channel is dedicated to exploring the most terrifying tales, the ones that'll make you question what's lurking just beyond the edge of town. As we settle in, the fire crackles, and the shadows on the walls seem to grow just a little bit longer. It's a chilly evening, perfect for a good story. And that's exactly what I have for you tonight. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall against the fury of the sea. A beacon of hope for those lost at sea, but also a warning of the dangers that lie beneath. Our story, The Lighthouse Keeper's Journal, the light that beckons something from the deep, is a tale of isolation, of the horrors that can drive a man mad, and the terrible price he pays for keeping the light burning. You'll be hearing this story from the Lighthouse Keeper's own words. His journal entries a testament to the descent into madness. So, join me, dear listener, as we delve into the heart of terror. But be warned, once you enter the Shadowlands, there's no turning back. If you're ready to face the darkness that lurks within, then subscribe to Shadowland's Ghosts and join our community of fellow travelers. Together, we'll explore the most sinister tales, and maybe, just maybe, we'll uncover the secrets that lie within the shadows. So, sit back, dim the lights, and let the story begin. But don't say I didn't warn you. March 15th, 1850. I can barely believe it's been 3 months since I arrived at this forsaken place. The lighthouse, a towering monolith of stone and steel, stands against the relentless fury of the North Sea. I am its keeper, tasked with ensuring the light that guides sailors through treacherous waters never falters. It's a solitary existence, but one I've grown accustomed to. The rhythmic pulse of the waves and the creaking of the lantern room have become my companions, my confidants. As I sit here, quill in hand, the fire crackles in the hearth, casting flickering shadows on the walls of my small quarters. The wind howls outside, a mournful sigh that seems to carry the whispers of the dead. I've grown used to the sound, but on nights like these, when the storm rages on, I feel the weight of the sea's power. It's a reminder that I am but a tiny speck, a fragile soul perched on the edge of the abyss. My assistant, a gruff but kind-hearted man named Tom, left 2 weeks ago, citing the isolation as too much to bear. I don't blame him. There's something about this place that gets under your skin, makes you question your own sanity. I've tried to fill the void he left behind, but the silence is oppressive, a physical presence that presses upon me like a shroud. Still, I have my routine to keep me sane. The lantern room must be cleaned, the glass polished until it shines like a tiny sun. The light, my constant companion, must be tended to, its wick trimmed and its fuel replenished. It's a never-ending task, but one I've grown to love. For in the light, I find solace, a sense of purpose that keeps the darkness at bay. But there are times late at night when the storm rages on and the light seems to flicker in sync with my own heartbeat, that I feel watched. It's a feeling I've tried to shake, to tell myself it's just the wind or the creaking of the old stone, but it persists. A nagging sense that something is out there, waiting for me to let my guard down. I've tried to push the thought aside, to focus on my duties, but it's hard to shake the feeling that I'm not alone here. That something, lurking just beyond the edge of the light, is waiting for me to make a mistake. I'll try to keep this journal up to date, to record my thoughts and feelings as the days turn into weeks. Who knows what the future holds? Perhaps I'll find a way to shake this feeling of unease, to make peace with the darkness that surrounds me. Or perhaps I'll stop there for now. The storm is getting worse, and I need to check the light. March 20th, 1850. 5 days have passed since I last wrote in this journal, and the feeling of unease has only grown. The storm that raged on the 15th has given way to an unsettling calm, a stillness that seems to press upon me like a physical force. I try to keep myself occupied, tending to the light and performing my duties with precision, but the sense of being watched has only intensified. Last night, I could have sworn I saw a shadowy figure lurking just beyond the edge of the light. I was making my rounds, checking the lantern room and ensuring the glass was clean, when I caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye. I spun around, but there was no one there. The wind was calm, the sea was still, and yet I could have sworn I saw a figure, tall and imposing, standing just beyond the reach of the light. I tried to shake off the feeling, telling myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but the image has stayed with me. I found myself glancing over my shoulder, expecting to see someone there, but there's never anyone. I've also started to notice strange noises, creaks and groans that seem to come from nowhere. At first, I thought it was just the old stones settling, but the sounds seem to be getting louder, more insistent. It's as if the lighthouse itself is trying to tell me something, but I'm not sure what. I've tried to keep myself busy, but the silence is oppressive, a physical presence that presses upon me like a shroud. I've started to feel like I'm losing my grip on reality, like the isolation is getting to me. I've begun to wonder if Tom was right to leave, if I'm foolish to stay here alone. But I'm determined to see this through. I'll continue to tend to the light, to keep the darkness at bay, no matter what. I've just heard a strange noise, a low creaking sound that seems to be coming from the lantern room. I'll go and check it out. Later, I'll just return from the lantern room, and I'm shaken. The creaking sound was coming from the glass itself, which seems to be vibrating with an otherworldly energy. I've never seen anything like it before. The glass seems to be pulsing as if it's alive. I try to calm myself down, telling myself it's just the wind or the sea, but I know what I saw. The glass was pulsing with a malevolent energy, as if it's trying to tell me something. I'm not sure what's going on, but I know I need to get to the bottom of it. I'll keep investigating, keep searching for answers, no matter what. The storm is starting to pick up again, and I need to go and check the light. I'll try to stay calm, to keep my wits about me, but I'm not sure what the night will bring. March 22nd, 1850. I didn't sleep last night. The storm raged on, and the creaking sound in the lantern room seemed to get louder, more insistent. I've tried to tell myself it's just the wind, but I know what I heard. The glass is trying to tell me something, but I'm not sure what. I've started to feel like I'm losing my mind, like the isolation is getting to me. I've begun to wonder if I'm really alone here, or if there's something else at work, something malevolent. I've tried to keep myself occupied, but the sense of unease has only grown. I've started to feel like I'm trapped, like I'm caught in some kind of nightmare from which I'll never awaken. I'll try to keep this journal up to date, to record my thoughts and feelings as the days turn into weeks. But I'm not sure how much longer I can keep this up. The storm is getting worse, and I'm starting to feel like I'm running out of time. I'll stop there for now. The light is flickering, and I need to go and check it. But I'm not sure what I'll find. As I climbed the winding stairs to the lantern room, the creaking sound grew louder, more insistent. I could feel the malevolent energy emanating from the glass, pulsing with an otherworldly power. The air was thick with an eerie, unsettling presence, and I knew I was getting close to uncovering the truth. I pushed open the door to the lantern room, and a blast of icy air hit me like a slap in the face. The glass was vibrating with an intense, pulsating energy, casting flickering shadows on the walls. I felt like I was stepping into the heart of madness itself. And then I saw it. A figure, tall and imposing, standing just beyond the reach of the light. Its face was twisted into a grotesque grin, its eyes glowing with a malevolent intensity. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. The figure began to move closer, its presence filling the room with an unspeakable horror. I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet. As I fell, I saw the figure's face contort into a scream of rage, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly fury. I scrambled to my feet, desperate to escape the abomination that was before me. But it was too late. The figure reached out a twisted, claw-like hand and touched the glass. The pulsating energy surged to a crescendo, and the glass exploded in a shower of razor-sharp shards. I stumbled backward, blinded by the fragments of glass. When I opened my eyes again, the figure was gone, but the horror remained. The lighthouse was plunged into darkness, the storm raging on outside like a chorus of the damned. I realized, with a jolt of terror, that I was not alone in the lighthouse. The malevolent presence had been here all along, watching me, waiting for me. And now, it had me right where it wanted me. The darkness closed in around me, and I knew I was doomed. The lighthouse, once a beacon of hope and safety, had become a prison of unspeakable horror. I was trapped, with no escape from the malevolent force that had taken over. As the storm raged on outside, I knew I was facing a terror beyond my wildest imagination. The lighthouse was no longer a refuge, but a chamber of horrors, and I was at the mercy of the darkness that lurked within. The darkness swirled around me, a living, breathing entity that seemed to pulse with the same malevolent energy as the glass. I stumbled through the blackness, desperate to find a way out, but every step felt like I was walking further into the heart of the horror. The storm raged on. Outside, its cacophony of thunder and lightning a distant echo of the terror that gripped my heart. Suddenly, I heard my own name, whispered in a voice that was almost but not quite human. It was a voice that seemed to come from all around me, echoing off the walls of the lighthouse. I spun around, trying to see who or what was speaking, but there was nothing. The voice seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I tried to run, but my feet felt heavy, as if they were rooted to the spot. The voice whispered my name again, louder this time, and I felt a presence closing in around me. I was surrounded by an unseen force, a force that seemed to be squeezing the life out of me. And then I saw it. A faint, flickering light in the distance. It was a candle, burning with an eerie, otherworldly flame. The voice whispered my name once more, and I felt myself being drawn towards the candle, as if by an unseen force. As I reached out to touch the flame, the voice spoke again, its words echoing in my mind. "You should not have come here," it said. "You will never leave." The candle's flame surged to a crescendo, and I felt myself being consumed by the fire. The last thing I saw was the twisted, grinning face of the figure, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly fury. The flame engulfed me, and everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on the floor of the lantern room, my head throbbing with pain. The storm had passed, and an eerie silence had fallen over the lighthouse. But as I stumbled to my feet, I knew that I was not alone. The malevolent presence was still here, watching me, waiting for me. And then I saw it. The figure, standing just beyond the reach of the light, its eyes glowing with an unspeakable horror. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. The figure began to move closer, its presence filling the room with an unspeakable terror. I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet. As I fell, I saw the figure's face contort into a scream of rage, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly fury. This time, there was no escape. The figure loomed over me, its twisted, claw-like hand reaching out to claim me. And as the darkness closed in around me, I knew that I was doomed to spend eternity trapped in the lighthouse, at the mercy of the malevolent force that lurked within. As the figure's hand closed around my ankle, I felt a searing pain that seemed to rip through my very soul. The darkness closed in around me, and I was aware of nothing but the weight of the figure's grip, pulling me down into the abyss. But I did not scream. I did not struggle. I lay there, frozen in terror, as the figure began to drag me backwards, deeper into the heart of the lighthouse. The lantern room grew smaller and smaller, until it was just a tiny, distant memory. The figure pulled me through the winding staircase, down into the depths of the tower. I was aware of the sound of my own ragged breathing, the pounding of my heart in my chest. And then we reached the bottom. The figure stopped, its grip relaxing slightly. I lay there, my eyes adjusting to the dim light, and saw that we were in some kind of underground chamber. The walls were made of cold, damp stone, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. The figure stood over me, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly fury. I knew that I was about to meet my end, that I would never escape the lighthouse. But as I looked up at the figure, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Its face was changing. The twisted, inhuman features were shifting, contorting into something new. Something that looked familiar. And then I saw it. The figure's face had changed into my own. Its eyes were my own, staring back at me with a malevolent fury. I realized, with a jolt of horror, that I was staring in my own face. The figure spoke, its voice my own. "Welcome home," it said. "You'll never leave." As I screamed, the figure reached out and touched my face, and everything went black. When I was standing in the lantern room, the storm long passed. The lighthouse was silent, except for the sound of my own ragged breathing. But as I looked down at my hands, I saw something that made my blood run cold. They were not my own. They were the figure's hands, twisted and claw-like. And I knew that I was no longer myself. I was the figure, trapped in the lighthouse, forever bound to the malevolent force that lurked within. The darkness closed in around me, and I knew that I was doomed to spend eternity trapped in this living hell. The last thing I saw was the twisted, grinning face of the figure, my own face, staring back at me with an otherworldly fury. And then, everything went black. Epilogue. The lighthouse stood tall, its beam cutting through the darkness like a scythe. The storm had long passed, but the air still seemed heavy with the weight of the malevolent force that lurked within. The lantern room was silent, except for the sound of my own ragged breathing. I stood there, my eyes fixed on the twisted, grinning face that stared back at me from the mirror. It was my own face, yet not my own. The figure's face. The face of the thing that I had become. I remembered the words that the figure had spoken to me, the words that had sealed my fate. "Welcome home," it had said. "You'll never leave." And now, I knew that I was trapped, forever bound to the lighthouse and the darkness that lurked within. As I stood there, I felt a strange sense of peace. It was as if I had finally found my true home, my true self. The figure's face seemed to grin at me, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly fury. And then I saw it. A flash of movement out of the corner of my eye. A figure standing just beyond the edge of the lantern room. A figure that looked familiar. I turned, my heart pounding in my chest. And I saw it. A young woman standing at the base of the lighthouse. She was looking up at me, her eyes fixed on the lantern room. And I knew that she was coming for me. The figure's face seemed to grin even wider, its eyes gleaming with excitement. And I knew that the horror was far from over. The cycle was about to begin again, and I was the key. The darkness closed in around me, and I knew that I was doomed to spend eternity trapped in this living hell. But I also knew that I would never be alone. The figure would always be with me, guiding me, controlling me. And as the young woman began to climb the winding staircase, I knew that I would soon have a new playmate. A new victim to join me in my eternal dance with the malevolent force that lurked within the lighthouse. The beam of the lighthouse cut through the darkness, illuminating the path to my new home. And I knew that I would never be free. The figure's face seemed to grin at me, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly fury. And then everything went black. But the darkness was not silent. It was filled with the sound of my own ragged breathing and the sound of the figure's laughter, echoing through eternity. Wow, we've made it to the end of this terrifying tale, and I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining me on this journey. Your engagement, your comments, and your enthusiasm have made this experience truly unforgettable, and I'm so glad that you've been a part of it. As we conclude this chapter, I want to leave you with a sense of excitement and anticipation for what's to come. If you've enjoyed this story, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more thrilling tales, eerie atmospheres, and unforgettable characters. We have a vast library of content waiting for you, and we're constantly working on new and exciting projects that we can't wait to share with you. By subscribing, you'll not only get access to our latest stories and updates, but you'll also become a part of our community, a community of like-minded individuals who share a passion for the unknown, the unexplained, and the terrifying. You'll get to engage with us, share your thoughts and opinions, and help shape the direction of our content. So, if you're ready to embark on more thrilling adventures, if you're ready to face your fears and explore the unknown, then hit that subscribe button now. Let's continue this journey together, and let's make some unforgettable memories along the way. And as a special thank you to our loyal viewers, we'll be sharing exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and sneak peeks of our upcoming projects. You won't want to miss out on this. Trust me. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next tale. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's keep the horror alive. Subscribe now, and let's embark on this terrifying journey together. The darkness is waiting for us, and we wouldn't want to face it alone.